Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, I already know who it is. Target individual CJBK. It is 3:30 a.m. live from Brooklyn, New York. Um, as you can see, I'm walking, which means I missed the bus. All right. Every day that passes, and the more information I continue to read about the so-called emerging technology that is coming into the public, I think of how sad it is for those who are so wrapped up in the rat race, so wrapped up in the matrix of everything, so wrapped up in, so wrapped up in fears that kind of almost like compares nothing. Like, it compares nothing to what, us empowered, targeted individuals go through. Like all of the things that most people fear, that we basically actually see, the things we do see, is nothing compared to what we actually endure on the everyday basis. And then it's like you got people out here who are basically conditioned to live their life through fears that most people, are too fearful to actually actively put themselves in harm's way to experience. And what I mean by that, I mean like people who actively choose to engage in, like illegal activity that could basically, destroy someone's life, or whether it could be, my man is knocked out. But to actively decide you're gonna do some things that that can affect your life in some type of heavily regretful and probably charging way. To actively choose to do something, that's one thing, right? Those are fears that you basically decided that you were no longer going to fear. And then you said, well, hopefully I don't get caught. Or these are just the repercussions of my actions, right? And then you have us, who basically actually are forced into things without even knowing that we're being forced or manipulated into it. Or, you got people who actually engage in those fears, those active fears, right? But what they figure they'll do is they figure, oh, well, since we aren't afraid of these things, what we're going to do, we're going to take these things that most people are fearful of, and then we're going to push them on other people who are basically trying to avoid experiencing what we already experience, or what we actually conduct. Not we, but, this is just saying how some people act. When I'm talking about those people, I'm talking about those who try to use violence to intimidate, those who try to, use the idea that they're great criminals at robbing somebody or whatever the case may be. They use these things to try to intimidate, coerce, they basically, they're doing all the, and I'm starting to feel chills run through my body. I said, let me look around real quick. Anyway, I might be about to say something profound. Who knows? But, and you know what? My scripture of the day, it comes from Romans. I think it was Romans chapter 8. It was basically, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And you know what? Every day of my life, I try my best to be, why is there like, why is that so bright? But anyway, it says, do not be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. And every day of my life, I have always fought hard to resist the stimulations of what everyone else basically kind of give themselves into. The only thing I truly ever really allow myself to let myself go into is truly lustful desires. Other than that, I'm not a violent person. I'm not a thieving person. I don't steal really. Really. And I don't manipulate anyone. I don't abuse anyone. I'm always genuinely honest. And for the most part, I try to speak the truth as much as I can. And you know what? We live in a world where everything that is basically considered good is being flipped on its head and not being protected. Anyone who's righteous, they're not being protected. They're not being sought as, benefits to humanity anymore. I mean, think about it like this. All the countries, all the it's like, I don't even know how to really put it, because it's like, when you think about how evil flourishes in our world, how it flourishes. Granted, yes, some of the most wealthiest people in the world are among, if not the cultivators of some of the most evilest or evil engaging people in the world. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good, right? These wealthy people, they create systems throughout the world. They create systems throughout the world for people to feel oppressed by, right? They set the situations up. They set it up through generational gaps of wealth. They set her up by systematic oppressions, whether it's, denying people certain access to resources, denying people access to good schools, denying people access to, certain educations, denying people of certain access to better living, or denying people access to legal representation, denying people, right? Then you look at gang stalking, right? Look at the people who are involved mostly. Look, when you know what a perp feels like, because you more times than likely, especially if you're eccentric or what's the word? When you're somebody who basically, I can't remember the word. So much of my memory has been affected by their technology. But when you're someone who basically can feel energy of people, right? Pay attention to those who you can feel and know are perps, right? Do they look like people who are already oppressed? Do they sound like people who are already oppressed? Do they give you the feel? I just got a chill coming from my right side as I walk by that car. Do they feel like people who already was going through things, right? Remember, the wealthy set up the systems. They set up the systems. The wealthy sets up the systems. The companies and the wealthy control the governments. Even though we do our best to try to vote certain people into these, positions of government and whatnot, it's kind of one of those things that's like, okay, we put you in a position. Now, how long would it take for you to be flipped by these wealthy people? And the sad part is, I know here in America, it don't take much. It really don't take much. I mean, you think about how basically, if you consider it like this, if you were like a real believer of a faith-based, religion or something like that, and someone threatens you with death, first thing that should really come to your mind would be, at least from a Christian standpoint, is throw on your full armor of God and do not worry about the future, because no man or woman in this world knows the future. And then on top of that, even if someone threatens you with death or they threaten to set you up or whatever, you have to keep in mind that God will not allow you to go through anything that you cannot handle. And I believe that wholeheartedly. God will not allow you to go through anything that you cannot handle. I'm going to say that once more, because I know a lot of people watch these videos, and a lot of people probably have the idea of, suicide in their head. And trust me, I've definitely had it. Or people who just hope that, like, somebody comes along and just kills them so they don't have to experience it. Also because you don't want to actually kill yourself. So I just be like, trust me, I've been there too. The fact that you are still alive, knowing that in gang stalking, they kill people. They really do kill people. Whether it's slow or whether it's fast, they kill people. God will not allow you to go through anything that you cannot handle. And if it is not your time, you are not going anywhere. If it is not your time, you are not going anywhere. So what you need to do with the time that you still have alive is do everything in your power to be the good that humanity needs in this world. If everyone goes astray, if everyone was to turn heel, if everyone was to give themselves over to basically being overcame by evil indulgences, by all means, humanity needs to be destroyed. Because if everyone turns evil, then the earth is destroyed. I mean, it's the evil, it's really the ones that's overcome by evil that's destroying the earth as it is. It's the ones who are greedy that are destroying the earth. It's the ones who basically found themselves dependent on everything but natural things that are destroying the earth. It's not the naturalist. It's not the minimalist. It's not the tribes. It's not the, the I don't know, like it's not the people who basically are doing everything they can to just live a decent, good life. It's not all of us who are like, trying our best to be nonviolent. It's not us. But yet all of those people are given tools, devices, access. They're basically rewarded for their wrongdoings. They're basically rewarded for inducing more and more panic, inducing more and more fear, inducing more and more hardship against people who are already oppressed. So it's like I said it before, the wealthy sets the systems up. The wealthy sets the situations up. So then when you become destitute, and then here comes somebody with some money or some access to resources or whatever the case may be, and then they just come and say, hey, you look like you're in need. How about this? We're gonna get you a brand new car, right? Or we're gonna give you money to get you a brand new car, right? We want you to get a car. You gotta do these things in order for you to get this car, but you also gotta make sure this car is in specific colors. White, red, I don't know, whatever color, whatever colors that you're normally used to seeing. The cars I'm normally used to seeing when it comes to gang stalking are white cars, black tinted windows, and they usually always are within. If your window is by the street, more than likely they're parked right outside your window, or not too far from your window. My window isn't necessarily by the street, so what they do, they'll park somewhere near the building, but it's not that far from where my window is. But then they also have people who probably live within your building or live near your home, and they help them triangulate you. But yeah, you have all these people who basically condone this type of activity. And hold on one second. We have these people who basically conduct themselves as if no harm can ever come to them. They conduct themselves as if they're untouchable. They conduct themselves as if, everything in their life is going to be A-okay because they're on the strong side. Just know that we are always two bodies. We are not just our flesh body. We are two bodies. It may be hard to try to understand for people who, are so heavily like, I get it. Your conscious living basically tells you, well, if I'm feeling pain, then, this body that I'm in is the one that feels pain. This body that I'm in is the one that basically this body that I'm in is basically the one that I have to live with, even through all the torment and things of that sort. God never promised any of us a life without pain. God never promised any of us a life without torment. Why God never promised us that? Because there are fallen angels on this planet who do not they actually despise, humans to some degree. Why? Because God favored us. God favors us as some of his most precious creations. Fallen angels, they didn't, even though they were made to be powerful in many different, dimensions or whatever, but they disobeyed God. Alright? So God banished them. If you don't want to think about it as angels, then look, you got spirits, you got souls that never rested. You got deities that basically can't find no peace. I mean, I'm not the most knowledgeable of religions. I'm not the most, spiritually advanced. But one thing I do realize is I understand energy. Even when I didn't know how to put words to certain things, I understand the energy. I understand that, all the people who take part in destroying the lives of non-threatening, innocent, law-abiding, morally sound, people who live with conviction in their life. We are blessed 2 times. We are blessed 2 times. Because we fight so hard to not be overcame by the evils of this world, or the evil doings of the fallen angels and the dark energies that's crossing through these portals, and that's taking influence over other human beings. We are trying so hard. We're still blessed in so many ways, especially when we're taken care of when we least expect it. And that's the most beautiful part about understanding how God works is, the more you do good in this world and not expect anything in return from another person, God will basically give you back what you gave out. And I mean, I can attest to that. No problem. There's been many times where I probably have blessed somebody with something or some word, and I didn't expect anything back from the person. Or even if somebody would be like, hey, can I borrow? Most of the time I just give it to them. I don't worry about them paying me back. If you pay me back, cool. If not, then hey, I just know I'm probably not gonna give you anything anymore. But because you also gotta use discernment not to be taking a complete, you gotta use discernment to not allow yourself to just continuously be manipulated or whatever the case may be. Unless you are actively choosing to allow this person to be in your life, that's just on you, Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. They basically are augmenting people who are obedient so that they can have access to things, have access to resources, information, they basically augmented the genetic makeup of human beings so that we can be set up for something worse. And honestly, when you think about it like this. If augmenting human life is supposed to help us, why does it need to be a secret? If augmenting a person's human brain cannot be done with them consciously knowing, consciously or subconsciously. Well, I think your subconscious kind of know that something is being done with you, but your consciousness is being blocked from acknowledging that something is happening to you. Only at the moment when you learn about this technology that you're now consciously aware of what your subconscious has been trying to tell you is happening to your body. But I'm listening to them now, and they're all basically like, they don't understand how the wealthy elitists move to manipulate populations of people. And the one thing I've learned about within my 33 years of life is that they will create the system, and then they will affect certain people within the system. Once they affect certain people and they have them oppressed for a certain period of time, now when they want to tweak the system a little bit, they'll include some of the people that they actually affected into their new plans, right? But the new plans is only going to lead to a much worse situation to come. So all those people who were affected and then now included into the plan, now they're going to use those people who were oppressed to try to seek out the better versions of themselves who were already being oppressed, and then to take them out. The oppressed taking out the oppressed, just so that the oppressor can stay at the top. Overcome evil with good. Now here's the thing. We need people in this world who's not afraid to do what's right. Because if everyone decides to turn heel, all that's basically going to happen is like, it's just going to be a world filled with hatred, anger, violence, greed, and the cycle's just going to get worse and worse. Now, while the oppressed is so busy being, fed by the hand that they shouldn't eat from, they're taking out the people who would more likely be able to save them from themselves, because we are naturally in tune with everything that is good about the world. We are the ones who are sound enough to know when we see something that's not right being done, we will actually stand up and say, no, that's not right. You're taking advantage of that person. How you create a system that oppresses a person, and then after you've oppressed them for so long, now you want to try to include them so that they can oppress people that they were oppressed with. I don't know. So I got to keep doing what I'm doing because I have to be the good in the world. The handlers, they're like, oh, the streets is watching me. Oh, everybody in New York City know that you a snitch, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you have no idea what you're setting yourselves up for. I've already, not to say given up my life, but I've already gave my physical existence over to the world. I've already gave it over. My spirit is now with God. My spirit is already in tune with God. So I've already given my physical body over to the world. So no matter what happens to my body, I'm no longer worried about what happens to my body. Because spiritually, I know I'm already saved. Spiritually, I already know that God has favor over me. Spiritually, I already know my second body, my light body, I will be ascending. Because I am doing everything in my power to not be like everyone else who is oppressing the very same people they were oppressed with. I will not be bought. I will not be coerced. And you know what? They're going to use every device that they can to try to manipulate you and your mind against your moral conduct. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You are more powerful than you could probably ever truly imagine or understand. The reason why I say that is because, remember, they gang up on us in large numbers and groups of people. They surround your home. They basically work together as a large system or a network of people just to destroy you, one person. Think about how powerful that is. They gather themselves in large numbers just to destroy one person. You are far more powerful than what you can truly realize or understand. And they see it and they understand that. That is why they call it gang stalking. Because they have to form themselves into a group just to be able to try to take out one person. But always remember, God will never allow you to go through anything you can't handle. And not one man or woman on this planet can predict the future. Things happen because it was meant to happen. And usually when things happen, it's usually to either teach you something, to strengthen you, or to punish you, or to reward you. There's only 4 reasons why things happen in life. There's really only 4. Things don't just happen. They happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Because everything is connected. You know, everything is connected in some way, shape, or form. Everything. And, yeah. They're so excited about, being a part of a secret society. They don't realize secret societies, they sacrifice each other. At some point, they sacrifice each other. Even secret societies have secrets that not everybody in the secret society know about. Why? Because they have to have, whoever's at the top has to have control, and they have to make anybody under them feel like they have some type of control. Whoever's under them, that second tier of people, have to make the third tier of people feel like they have some type of control. But it's all about basically deception, control, power. But the best part about it all is those who spend their life conducting themselves in evil ways, well, their lives are never really as fulfilling as they wish it would. They may obtain material riches and wealth and whatnot, but you know what? A lot of those same people are never satisfied. They're never truly happy. Everything that they do is only for a moment of happiness, but they never have peace. They never have joy. They never have satisfaction. Most of the time, they don't even really have true love, especially from the people around them. How do you have everything and you still have nothing? How do you have everything and still have nothing? How do you kill your own mother? Right? How do you kill your own mother for wealth and, well, for riches, really? And yet you still don't find yourself satisfied with life. You wanted the money so bad. You even killed your own mother. You even killed your own parents because you wanted the money. And yet you're still not satisfied. You in public talk about how, you don't play that, people doing stuff to children. Oh, rapists need to be, thrown, rapists need to be, killed, whatever, pedophiles need to be killed and all that. But yet, these gang stalkers, these handlers, they are empowering the same rapists and pedophiles and murderers. They're empowering them by giving them access to technology so that they can conduct the same acts that they would do in real life, but in a digital sense. Just because you're not physically there penetrating or stabbing or doing whatever to a person doesn't mean your intentions aren't the same. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. You can't. There's no such thing as looking at bad in a better way. There's no such thing as like doing something that is intentionally wrong and then say that you're doing it for the betterment of other people. All these nurses, doctors, police officers, politicians, military personnel, company owners, all these different people that are basically conducting themselves the way that they are out of fear or because they get some type of thrill out of seeing people go through, torment, pain or whatever. They're all gonna die horrible deaths. One is when they die from their physical body, they're never gonna have peace. Their death is gonna be so much worse than what we'll have to experience. Because they spent their entire life doing, fucked up things to other people who didn't deserve it. So just always keep in mind, because I'm about to close here, always keep in mind that all these people who are spending their entire life doing fucked up things to other people, when they leave, when their body slowly starts dying on them, if they don't actually get killed themselves or they don't end up having some type of fatal accident, they're going to experience a worse version of dying than what we'll experience. And then once they leave their body, Now their actual spiritual body has to die in some sense, or be consumed, or yeah. So they're not just only going to die once, but they're going to die twice. On that note, I'm getting off next stop, but keep the faith. Keep doing everything that's right. We have to be the good that's left in humanity. We have to. Because if evil come at us so hard like this, then you gotta know that we're being tested in a way that, I don't know, we're being tested. But we have to do what's right. We have to keep doing what's right. Alright. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time.